All right, welcome, Kenzie.
I am so excited
As,
to be.
as you can tell, so I said it in your intro. I was like, she's super bubbly, just like a ball of energy, and that's what I love about you. So I'm excited to just share your story. I know I've heard it a million times, but I just think you're someone that I look up to as far as your positivity and your just go gettingness, and you're kind of just you don't really care what other people think, which I love, and you just go after what you want. So I'm excited to share your story from like unhealthy habits to obviously habits you love now, which is the theme and the safe space we give our people to share. So yeah, if you just want to start off with maybe kind of your story of your transformation, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I am obsessed with you. I love you. Thanks for being a bestie in my life forever, first and foremost.
I have to interject. I do want to I want to apologize because we've been friends for 3 years, and this is the first time you've been on. I'm like, why is this the first time you've been on? So
Probably
I want to
because we talk
apologize.
all the time anyway.
So you need to be a regular guest. So anyway, continue.
Thank you. So first of many stories to come, but I was about 27, 28, and I was kind of just doing the same old same. Everyone else I knew was working for somebody else, living off of Starbucks, living for the weekends. And I am someone who, like, I never raised my hand in school. Like, I didn't want to stand out. I didn't want to, like, talking in front of people was scary. Being different was scary. I kind of just wanted to find a way to go with the flow and not really stand out too much. But I also had like this little pit in my stomach of I do want more out of life. And I do kind of have a feeling that there might be something magical and possible, but no one else is finding it. So I don't know, like, if somebody else hasn't found it, it absolutely would not be for me of all people, right? And so I feel like I am the most normal as normal gets. My favorite
No,
dinner, yeah, well, old Mckenzie maybe, but I joke my favorite dinner was like a box of Cheez-Its and a bottle of wine. Like I would live off of Starbucks or Diet Coke or whatever was fast and easy, come like all day, come home starving. And I thought as long as I ran an hour on the treadmill the next day, like I was fine. I wanted to look cute in my jeans, but like wellness and health and actually taking care of myself because I valued myself was nowhere on my radar one bit. And it wasn't until I was almost 30 I had kind of that check in with myself and that honest conversation of, am I happy with where I am at? Do I like the way things are going? And a friend posed me with this question: if nothing changes, nothing changes, and where will you be in 5 years if nothing changes, and are you okay with that? And I kind of had that gut punch of like, I'm not okay with that. Like, I might be one more rung up the ladder on like my third career choice, but their life doesn't look much better than mine right now. I know that's not the answer. And so I kind of, from that place of kind of doing what everybody else is doing, not really loving where I'm at, knowing I want more, but not really knowing how that would be possible, is kind of where this introduction to I can actually pick up the pen and write my own story. That's kind of where that started.
I love that. So I want to ask, when you say you weren't happy with where you were, like what did you feel? And obviously the way we feel determines the actions we take. So like how did waking up every day feel like? I know you were in fashion, I think. I mean, I know you were at some point, but I didn't know. You said 3 careers, so I didn't know what other ones you had, but you would go to work all day every day, come
Mhm.
home, probably rinse and repeat the same day. So yeah, when you woke up,
Mhm.
how did you feel about your life? And then what actions were you taking?
Totally. So I would wake up. I did work for Louis Vuitton for 3.5 years, and I switched to Neiman Marcus, hoping that would lead to a career as a buyer. And I was young and single at the time, so I was willing to move around and do whatever a career that I was passionate about would require of me. But at that time, and as all things in life, if it's not for you, like you're going to run in the dead end over and over
Yes.
again. So I would wake up and I would not be inspired. I would kind of dread. I probably didn't feel good. Let's be honest. I probably had a headache and was exhausted and didn't feel good
And
from
you
my
didn't know
Cheez-It.
that at the time. At the time, you're
I
probably like,
didn't
this
know
is normal. Yeah.
and I would probably talk to a girlfriend and we would probably complain about something on my drive to work. And then I'd get to work and, my subconscious autopilot self-talk was to find the negative, to find the struggle, to find the hard. And so I would be like, customer this crazy customer, is coming in the store, or I have to close tonight, or there'd be some underlying, I'm not happy about today. There's an obstacle in my way every little piece of the day. And it didn't have to be anything big, it could just be like, I have to sit here or stand here 4 more hours. It felt very heavy and slow.
Yeah. And you're like, where is my life going? Like, is
What's
this going
the
to be my
point of
everyday? Yeah.
totally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were around 30, like you said. And like you
Mhm.
said, a ping went off of as when you are not meant to be doing something, yes, I do feel like inevitably you will come up against a wall. And I feel like that's just God being like, you are not following the God given purpose that I gave you. And whether
Mhm.
that's when you're 20 years old, 40, 60 years old, I do feel like that does happen to everyone eventually. And I was just thinking about this earlier before we got on of like, we do need people that can be like janitors and fast food workers and government people. And, we do need those people because everyone needs to have some sort of job to like fill this economy in the world. But I
Yes.
do think there are select people that are meant for so much more than that. And if you're okay with just waking up and going to get a paycheck and coming home, because I know people like that and they're just like, I'm fine to have that security and safe income. And then I'm fine with just living for the weekend. And that's totally fine. But we're
Totally.
talking to the people
Totally.
that have that gut feeling, that inner knowing of like, this just feels off. I feel like I'm driving on the wrong side of the road or I'm
Yeah.
so far off my path. Like, how did I get here?
Yes.
And we'll speak to this later, but like I'm kind of there right now. And I go in and out of that. I go in and out of like I am living my purpose. And then somehow along the way, maybe it's just inner beliefs or thoughts or negativity that kind of gets me off my path. And then I am so conscious and aware of like, I'm not on my path. So like, let me get back there.
I think even before I knew the word alignment or even knowing, like I didn't even know where I was or who I was meant to be, I had that inner knowing I'm off track.
Mhm.
Something is not right. It's almost out of body, like little voice talking to you, like,
Yes.
what are you doing here?
Yes. Yes.
You
Yeah.
don't, you're not meant to sit here another or stand here another 4 hours.
Yeah,
Not where
totally.
you're supposed to be. Yes.
Okay, give us the light bulb moment. Give us that like
Oh,
maybe a rock bottom you had, or I do feel like a lot of transformation happens at the bottom of a pit. So tell us like where you were.
totally. So mine was kind of leading up to my rock bottom, I would say. It was, but I had this stirring of frustration years before, right? But I was out downtown Denver in these really cute big wooden heels. And I thought it'd be a great idea to do this little like side leprechaun kick in my heels. Landed wrong, broke my foot, and needed 2 surgeries. Dude, Kayla, I was on a scooter and had to go work retail on a scooter. So I would like ride my little scooter, show someone a Chanel bag and then put it in the basket in my scooter and reel over to the register to like check them out. Okay. So like all rock bottoms look different. That felt like a low to me. Okay. Like on a scooter, trying to be luxurious and also just being like, it's a Saturday and I'd rather be anywhere than working at the mall. Right. And what am I? And but from that, I received 2 letters. I was at Neiman's at the time. And one letter said, it was signed by everyone during one of my surgeries. And it was like, we miss you. We miss you. The second letter said, we can only hold your position for 30 days. and I work on my feet. And so being down 1 foot was a big deal. So I had to go back to work on a scooter or I would be unemployed. And I remember just that pit in my stomach. And I know this is irrelevant, but I had that, like, I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Right? Like that little, like, stupid victim voice of like, oh, I don't deserve this. But it's such a gift and a blessing because it did really open my eyes to the fact that there are going to be circumstances out of our control in life, both good and bad. Like having a baby, amazing inconvenient blessing sometimes, right? Also breaking your foot, like inconvenient, like unwanted thing at the time. But both good and bad things are going to pop up in life. Like that's just life. And I knew I never wanted to be in a position again where I didn't have a choice or I felt backed into a corner because I didn't have another option. And so that's where I was like, gosh, like I need to pick up the pen and be in the driver's seat. And the wild thing, this is why I'm so grateful for you and all that you do, because this was so 12 years ago. I started Arbonne in December, 12 years ago. So meant to be that we're doing this now. But 12 years ago, there was only one woman that I could think of that was living a life by design, that was a bomb wife, a bomb mama, bomb in her faith, bomb in her community, bomb in her health, bomb in her marriage, like the
Checking all the
full
boxes.
example of abundance that I knew. And she lived next door to my parents. And so I feel like we're all scared to look different, to live different. But if she hadn't stood out, I wouldn't have known who to call in that time of struggle and need. And so I think that is just what's so powerful. Now we can pull up our Instagram or, relate and see someone doing something different, but it's really powerful. And I'm grateful she built her life and her organization to the extent she had. So I could see what was possible and I knew who to call at that time. And so I called her. I knew she did something with some company called like Airborne or Bonnie. I had no idea. It was Arbonne. And I knew her husband coached high school basketball. So it couldn't be him providing the life that they lived. And so I called her and I was just like, do you need a resume? Like, what do you need from me? Like, will you help me change my life? And thank God every day, it was Arbonne and she didn't need a resume and there were no required skills. But that phone call changed my life. And it sounds dramatic, but hands down, it has changed and impacted everything from that day forward.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to say, I'm thinking of like, God uses all these certain things. Although he doesn't want to cause pain, he obviously uses it. And for you, he just happened to use a pair of wooden heels. So God is funny in that way.
God knows how to speak my language.
He used your fashion to change your life. And then also kind of what was just coming to mind was obviously we wish we knew what was happening in those moments when it's happening. Because like you said, you immediately went to victim mentality. And I think getting older, and I don't know if you feel like this now, but now when I have like an obstacle or something doesn't work out, I get excited because I'm like, oh my God, that means something better is going to happen. And so, but I think when you're young and you're going through a lot of things, you really feel like you are being punished. You're like, why is this happening to me? I'm like you said, I'm a good person. And so I just wish everyone could just like reflect in those moments and like really sit with it and just be like, wow, this didn't work out because I have something so much better coming along, because I'm sure you could not fathom this is my dream career that I thought I was supposed to be doing. If I'm not going to be doing this, I'm probably going to be a bum on the street living under a bridge. Like,
Totally. Yes.
so
You're
that's just my
so
tip.
right.
Yeah, that's just my tip to everyone of like, if something is not working out, be grateful because something much better is on the other side of what's not working out for you.
And I think there is just a maturity in realizing those processes are just different ways we're under construction. And just learning and growing in patience has been, one of the biggest struggles of my life. I still battle, but especially when we're young, regardless of age, I think we want to just compare, like, I should be here, or it should look like this, or it should feel like this. But like you just don't get to see the construction in the process. Like a house being built, you get to see it's under construction. You see it's about to be a beautiful house, but we can't see that in ourselves. And same now when things happen, it's like lean into it, game on, because I don't want to butt up against this struggle again and again and again. So I want to lean into it and grow from it. And man, it must be good what's on the other side.
Yes. Everything I thought that I ever wanted that didn't work out, I can just put something right next to it and it's like, wow, okay, I actually got this and it's so much better.
So
So
much
much
better.
better. Okay, so I want to segue into okay, so you had your rock bottom. You're obviously like, what am I going to do with my life? I want to talk about the mental barriers and struggles maybe you came up against in that transformation. Like say you're going over the bridge. What did you have to really work through mentally and emotionally to say I am deserving of a better life? Like and you obviously started Arbonne and all things. So what were the things you had to overcome, you think, your biggest struggles?
I feel like there's so much because I think part of it is so many of us don't want to admit we're at a rock bottom or we don't want to admit life isn't perfect and rosy. And so let's be honest, some of the battle is just being honest about who you are and where you are and not trying to sugarcoat it or hide that. And so for me, part of it was I think I was so naive, which was the best thing ever. But I was just, because I had years of frustration of this tug that this isn't right, there must be more. And then I found something like Arbonne. I was like, dude, everyone I've ever talked to like doesn't feel good, wakes up with a headache or wants more energy or more sleep, or everyone I've ever talked to has mentioned once or twice they want more money. I literally felt like this is such a gift. You know, I can share this with everyone. I had no idea people would say no. I had no idea people had misconceptions about network marketing. And so I feel like that naiveness kind of helped me step into this place of I am ready for a change and this is my vehicle. And I closed the back door day one, that I was like, this is where I'm putting all my eggs, because I saw my friend's success and I knew she was going to be with me every step of the way. And so I was like, if she can do this, I can do this. Right. And so I jumped in, but you guys, like I said, my favorite dinner was Cheez-Its and wine. So anyone who knew me knew I didn't know a thing about health and wellness. I didn't know a thing about business. I didn't know how to be a leader. I didn't know how to personally grow myself. But I do think the one thing that I am good at is I see the best in people. And I am your biggest cheerleader. And you can say I suck or I'm not, blah, 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 but I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
that is my gift.
Yeah, you do.
So
You're really good
I
about that.
but so that I could lean into. And so regardless if anyone was like, I don't know if Arbonne's real, Mckenzie, I don't know if you could do this, I could say, I get that. Very fair, right? But like, this could be for you in this capacity. And I really just leaned into being able to dream big with Arbonne, because every job I ever had, they told me what I was going to make, right? I couldn't dream big because I couldn't earn more there unless I got a promotion, but I wasn't in charge of when I got a promotion, right? So that was like a waste of time so much. There were limited spots at every position in every other company. So like dreaming of that seemed like a waste of time. Like I couldn't, and also let's be honest, like I didn't want to be at the top of like Louis Vuitton or anything else, right? Like I also wanted to maybe be a mom or a wife or, have some other personal dreams in there in my lifestyle. And so I really got excited that I could work and dream big and cheer people on and get paid for it.
Yeah, like
Like, and
what?
be in charge of how much I earn doing those things. And so I just really leaned into dreaming big and like helping other people build those dreams for themselves. And that created momentum and excitement that, that overpowered my fears of I don't have enough time in a day. I built Arbonne working a full-time job for 5 years, getting married, losing family members, like going through life, all the ups and downs the same. So I didn't know enough people. And the people that knew me knew this was probably not for me. All
You
the
proved
fears,
them wrong.
right? But like, and doubting yourself, like just social media, learning and growing. Like I went VP in Arbonne before I had my first laptop. Like I just pure ignorance, like on fire, but I was coachable and I knew I was going to be working hard for some boss somewhere else, because we need money to live. What if I just worked hard for myself?
Yeah.
And so I had all the fears, all the doubts, people closest to me absolutely did not see what I saw, absolutely expected me, I'm sure, to just, throw in the towel a few months in. But I really felt that click of, oh, this is what I have been searching for and this is for me. And things were ready to roll once. And it didn't unfold, wildly, but it's always just that next step appears,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yep.
just that next step is always the hardest step or the scariest step. And so I still feel fears, today, but it's always just like I can just take that next step and then just keep going one after the other.
Yeah. Well, now you have that trust muscle of you. Now you've just been doing it so long that you know what's going to happen, potentially good or bad. Like, okay, I'm going to do this, and either one of two things is going to happen, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's how we connected. I want to quickly share kind of how we met, which is really funny. Or do you want to share? I don't know. Maybe you should share.
I can share just because I totally stalked you on Instagram. There was a picture of it was goddess picture of her in like this gorgeous scarf on her head and this orange swimsuit and on the beach. And I was just like, I mean, goals. Like your heart shined, your smile, just who you are radiated. But I was like, that's my girl.
Before
We
we
didn't know it,
ever
but we
met.
were going to be friends and in each other's life, whether you wanted to or not. But so we became friends on Instagram, and I just basically prayed you to me to Colorado. But you can share from
It's
there.
so
But yeah,
crazy. It's just, yeah, such a God thing. The fact that we are sitting here on an interview right now, it's so crazy. Like you said, I was living in Florida. That picture was taken in California. Was living in Florida. You were living in Colorado. And I do vaguely remember, you reaching out to me because I think at that time I was really into my business. So I was having a lot of women reach out to me about whatever, fitness, health, help me, whatever. And yeah, but like for some reason you did keep sticking out because I think you probably were messaging me a lot. No, just kidding. And then I had announced that I was just going to Colorado for the summer. And guess what? Guess who lived there? You lived 20 minutes from where I was moving to, which is
oh,
insane. And
insane.
I think I posted it and you were like, oh my God, I live here. So I was like, okay, well, at least I have one friend that I could reach out to. So yeah, we ended up going to the yoga on the rocks at Red Rocks Canyon, like
Oh
very
yeah.
shortly. Yeah, very shortly after I moved there. And then it's really just been uphill from there.
Uphill from there.
Yeah.
And it
And
was
now
so,
obviously we still don't live. Now I moved back to Florida, sadly. But yeah, we were just in Colorado. It was just so fun just meeting up with you. And obviously you got me into Arbonne, which I'm forever grateful for because yeah, everything you said about like when you said dreaming big, it feels like with Arbonne, with this sort of business, with network marketing, direct sales, whatever you want to call it. I think MLM, I hate that term because it's like taboo, but I
it
just
feels
feel
outdated.
this like open ceiling, like it's open ended. Where else can you get like an open ended? I can just keep going. Like, no, it's like I will have to keep working, but I'm going to be here with what I make and how much I can do and how much contribution I could have. So, yeah, same with whenever I started actually getting into the business, like for me, I'm more of like a products person and more of like share what I'm passionate about or what products I love. So I'm more of that. But when I actually started using the products, obviously loving the products, seeing a huge difference in my skin and every way possible. Um, when I got into the business, yeah, I started to feel that alignment. Again, you used that word in the beginning, the alignment of like, wow, this is everything that aligns with who I am, basically. So like my authenticity is like personal well-being and fulfillment. It's purpose and contribution. It's connection and relationships, and that's everything I felt with Arbonne. It was community. It was health. It was like no one is trying to steal your job, for one. No one's talking behind your back, for one. If anything, they're like encouraging you. So we would all meet up at coffee shops and help each other, and we're all not really competing with each other, but in a way, yeah, we're trying to get this out to all the same people. So, but
Yeah.
it just felt like such a, I don't know. It's just hard to explain. It was amazing. I loved it. I loved it. I
It's
loved it.
amazing. Like the caliber of people I think that Arbonne attracts, because there is such a level of trust and authenticity, because we do use these products every day. It is a lifestyle. And I love that we're only successful by helping other people. And so it does keep a lot of that ego in check of look at me, look at me. No, it's not
Mm,
about me.
yeah.
Right. And we would get together, and I think because of the caliber of people, like we're competitive, like we want to do well, we want to be excellent in all that we do, but also we're human. And I think especially women, we are so hard on ourselves, and we are always our worst critic. And so the fact that, and I don't know about you, but like women hasn't always been my jam, right? Not always the case. But in Arbonne, I love it because like there's so many opportunities for self-doubt to creep in, or just that mental junk to just creep up. We get a little tired, and then we do one thing we don't say, or we skip on this, and then all of a sudden we're like, gosh, I can't do anything. And so to come together and just say, oh my gosh, how are you doing? You're amazing. I love this strength of yours. Oh my gosh, you're so good at this. Can you teach me how you do this? Right? Like, what would you say to this person? What do you see for me 3 months, 6 months, 5 years from now? And it really helps, because everyone just wants what your best for you and your family and your future is. And it really is an exceptional, special culture that just, you can copy the white Mercedes or some protein
Yeah,
or
yeah.
anything else, but our people are our secret sauce for
Yeah,
sure.
I think what you said about ego and everything, I do feel like if you are just, there's no way that you would ever be able to be successful if it was just about you with this business.
Mhm.
If
No,
it's just about you will probably
there's a
fail.
million other opportunities out there for you if it's
Yeah,
just about you.
yeah. So that, and I think I've said this to you before recently, of just like, I do believe everyone can do a business like this. Like, I do believe that, but I don't believe everyone should.
Right.
Again, I think everyone is possible of doing this, but like I think
Yep.
where it gets a really bad rap is we do come across those people that do make it salesy. And I do think that is a very egotistical about them sort of situation, where I think if you're trying to sell any product online, if you're trying to, or not just online in general, I
Yep.
do feel like it has to align with who you are. I do feel like if you just jump on something because you want to make money, and I
Mhm.
see this a lot. I'm in a couple moms groups here, and all the time women are like, I need to find a way to make extra money. What can I do? If you
Mhm.
approach a business like this, like that, I
Mhm.
don't feel like it's going to work, or you are going to come across salesy and you are going to like turn off those people. But with me, how
Mhm.
I love to share is like, I have to use the product first. I have to love it. And I
Yeah.
have to share from a place of, I am so passionate about this because not only did it help me and change my life, or whatever it is, if my skin, if it's my bank account, if it's whatever, then like
Mhm.
I truly feel like that's an authentic way to share. But if you are just jumping in just to make extra money, you're not going to have that like the heart behind it. You're not going to have that like the passion behind it basically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The impact is so much more than just our words or a post, and people can see through that very quickly. So I agree.
yeah, it's like TikTok shop is blowing up. Every time I get on TikTok, it's someone trying to sell me something. Oh, it's just like, but are you even using these products? It's just like they just
Really.
are trying to push, 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 sell, sell, sell. And it
Yes.
comes across that way. And I would just rather sell from a place of like, I'm detaching from the outcome. I'm just sharing because to share. And whatever you
Right.
do with it is
Right.
whatever. But go ahead.
I think like that is the power of like intent versus content, right? Like our intention is to, so for me, my intention is to help any woman who's stuck, who's struggling, who's doubtful, who's, you know, discouraged to flourish in extraordinary ways for them on their terms. And so that conversation is going to be very different than like, you know, what's up, have a fist stick, right? Your intent is to help people be empowered and encouraged on a daily basis to have knowledge and tools and confidence to properly move and fuel their bodies and live their best life and understand the thoughts they're thinking and be able to make different choices and not live from past behaviors, right? Like your intent is so much more than just, I want to like push some product out, you know, the door. And I think that's what's so powerful is like we do live in an amazing time right now where there's lots of ways to make money, but how are you making a life? And more importantly, like how are you leaving a legacy? And I think that's what sets something like Arbonne apart too. And so it's really pretty cool.
Yeah. What would you say to anyone that is completely turned off by by like a network marketing company?
I would say I totally get it. You're not alone. I think more people are taught to be skeptical, or maybe you've had a bad experience, right? If you Google water bottles, there's going to be bad reviews and there's going to be positive reviews, right? There's going to be good and bad of everything. I will say network marketing isn't perfect, but it is a much better option if you desire more for your life and if you're willing to work for more, and it's results driven. And so no one can tell you this is what you're going to make. But also no one can say this is all you can make, right? I will say that if they are against network marketing, probably just need to be educated. Like it's a really smart industry, very low startup. To start any business, usually you need thousands and millions of dollars, overhead, products, you need to pay people, right? It's low entry. And what is on the other side is really super smart. A lot of really smart, wealthy individuals back this as a way of building extraordinary wealth. And it's really just brilliant, right? You get to, if you're in network marketing, you meet more people in a year than some people meet in a lifetime. And just the relationships alone can enrich your life. Like my husband and I, we wanted to have kids and we tried for a little bit and then we decided to just count our blessings and take that off the table. I am an aunt to so many babies because of Arbonne and because of the relationships in my life. And I would not have that otherwise. So I would say if you are skeptical about network marketing, get educated. If you look into any business, absolutely make sure it's a residual product. You guys, because of Arbonne, Kayla and I, we earn while we sleep, while she's holding Tyson, while I'm playing with Peanut. We could be in the mountains. I could be helping somebody else start their business. But because everyone falls in love with their protein, with their eye cream, with their fizz, with their greens, it all runs out and people reorder. And so I introduced someone to Arbonne 12 years ago. And this month I'm still getting paid every single time because Arbonne pays me. It's not like a discount code, right? Or, you know, some other companies, these direct sales one off. And then you also get to franchise yourself, right? And so there is a Starbucks on every corner for a reason. Like it's smart business to serve more people everywhere. And we're in 6 countries. If you wanted to open your own smoothie shop in Florida, you maybe could like serve the people 5 miles around that radius, right? Maybe more. But with Arbonne, like Kayla's global in 6 countries with potential. And you just can't do that anywhere else for $65 to start a business. Like it's so smart.
Yeah.
If you're skeptical, either you've been taught to be skeptical or you've had a bad experience or you doubt yourself. But the industry and what's possible is really undeniable.
Right, right. I think a byproduct of doing it is confidence. I think on the other side of rejection, for me, very terrified of rejection. But over time, if you can just go into something knowing you're probably going to get rejected, I think you probably get more no's than yeses. Just on the other side of like those reach outs or telling someone about it, or if someone's like, hard freaking no. I'll be like, okay. But like that's building like confidence every time you can take a no, every time you're like, you don't make it personal about you. So it's
Right.
just such like a confidence builder for me. And obviously like the personal development is huge. I already love that. It's like, why not do that with a group of other women who are also wanting to do that as opposed to doing it in my closet?
Totally. And if you're a professional about it, you can realize, sweet, today's a no, but I'll be here when you need me. Just like Nordstrom's. Like I'll walk around Nordstrom's and not buy something sometimes, but then when I need that cute pair of jeans or something, I'm going to go to
Yeah.
them when I need it. So someone might tell me no, but then in a year or two, life's changed and their health has changed and their finances have changed and their circumstances have changed, and they're like, "Hey, you believed in me before I believed in
Yeah.
myself.
And they're going to
Like,
remember.
let's revisit that
Yeah,
conversation." And
absolutely.
then it's game on.
Absolutely. It's like Nordstrom's not going to get offended if you don't buy a pair of jeans.
Does not care if I say no.
We need to have Nordstrom attitude. Like
Yes.
just let go of the outcome and just come from a place of I'm sharing because I have a good heart. I'm passionate about this.
Yes.
It can help you whether you just need to improve your health or if you want to also improve your health while helping other people improve their health and getting paid for it. And it just can
Totally.
even create, like we've talked about, like it could just pay for your groceries or your gas or your car insurance. It doesn't have to be your career at the beginning. You could go into it
Yep.
just thinking, that small. But like you said, you were dreaming
Totally.
big, which I think eventually you can get there. I climbed pretty fast whenever I was, whenever I was all in. I am trying myself to like get back into it because I think, I've said this to you, my life has
Mhm.
totally changed. I'm not single living by myself in Colorado where I can spend 10 hours at a coffee shop, which I absolutely love to do.
Mhm.
Like my work was going into a coffee shop and then going out in nature and then blah, blah, blah. But I don't have that access anymore. But I will say when I did, I was very successful because I was just sharing from a place of like, hey, like I like this and you might like it too. And that's where it has to stop. It doesn't have to be like, you
Totally.
must buy this from me or we're not friends anymore.
Totally. It's not that deep. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not that deep. So anyway, that's how we connected and love you for
Going
it.
strong
And
in
like
this,
you just,
and now we're together forever.
I know. And that's where you just meet amazing, amazing people.
Hmm.
So what do you think has changed the most in your life? Because honestly, I cannot picture you being any other way than you are now, like bubbly. And I will say, I have to say this, you win every freaking prize you ever like enter. I like it has to be your positive energy, your like, it's already mine mentality. Every nation night you would win something. I swear to God that we would have a raffle. There'd be 5 prizes and she would always win one. So like I mean, I guess just what has changed so much in your life? Because like I said, I can't imagine you like being depressed and sad and negative because that is not
Yeah.
you now. So
Yeah.
I'm sure on the other side of what you did changed your life.
I think the belief has changed so much, just believing in myself and really knowing I like myself, and I really like myself and I like who I am and I like how I do it and I really like where I'm headed. And that belief is it's seeps into everything, right? And so I think the belief, and then also I know I've seen my transformation, and so I know other people can change, and so my belief in other people and what's possible is through the roof. I will say i I know I'm not great at everything, but my superpower and my strengths, I would say, is minding my mind and really being consistent with pouring into myself. And I know when we get squeezed, that's what pours out. And so I always want what pours out of me to be impactful and positive and wise and to make a difference and to leave, people better than I found them. And so what's really changed is that non-negotiable in my mindset and my habits and how what I my standards and what I refuse to settle for and what I do settle for myself, for my family, for this world, right? And I think what's really cool is that I remember Quick story. I remember when I launched my business, my friend Tara, who introduced me and helped me with this business, we drove to Wyoming to launch a woman on my team. She did the one driving. We drove 2 hours. She did the party because I didn't know how to do a party. She did the party. She drove home for 2 hours. We got home. I was exhausted. Technically, I didn't do a thing. I sat in a car, I sat on a couch, sat in a car, came home. I was exhausted, right? She got home. She went to like dinner with her family. She had like 3, 4, 5 other things on her to-do list that day. And so I think there's this false belief that if I do too much, I'm gonna burn out, or I'm gonna like, oh, I can't do it, or I'm gonna be overwhelmed. And what's really cool that has changed is I've really leaned into, I have all the time in the world to do all the things God has put on my plate for me today. And so I can read, I can listen to things, I can walk the dog, I can work out, I can work my business, I can cook dinner for my husband as soon as he walks in the door. Otherwise, he'll snack on everything. I can be available and on purpose for all things, and it won't drain me and it won't hurt me or ruin me or like wear me out. It actually fires me up more. And I think that is a huge difference too, being able to say yes to the things that I really want, but also to say no to the things. Like yesterday, The Preacher's Wife was on, and I love that Christmas movie. So me and my new puppy decided to say, nope, we're going to sit and watch a movie. And that is such a gift too. So just that confidence in knowing I'm not missing anything if I say no to something too is pretty powerful. But if I set my mind to something, it's a decided, done.
You're so good at that. Yeah, you're so good at that. And like those boundaries, that is ultimate freedom. To me, ultimate freedom is doing whatever you want whenever you want. I think Tyler and I have had a lot of conversations about like, you know, why I try to be so successful monetarily is because from a young age, I have loved autonomy in my life. I have loved freedom. I have loved like, I am not bound by anyone else telling me what I can and can't do. So you have like absolute freedom where you probably did not have that before. You'd be like, well, I can come like after work, maybe if I'm not too tired, like, oh, I can't stay out that late because I got to get up for what, you know, just like everything is, your whole life is dictated around having to be somewhere because someone else told you to. It's like, what? It's like, who wants to live like that? No, not me. And I also loved what you said about if you were to be squeezed. I love that just visual of like what you are putting into your mind, your body, whatever. And if you, whenever you start to feel that pressure and someone like, I just picture someone like squeezing me, like what's going to come out? Is it going to be negativity? Is it going to be doubt, fear? Is it going to be low self-worth? Is it like, you know, wow, that's like a really good visual for me. I would want like joy and peace and happiness to flow out, gratitude to flow out. And you can't have that if you're not putting that in. So I love that visual. It's like a sponge almost, like someone's wringing out a sponge, like what's going to fall out of your sponge. So that's really good visual for me to take away and make sure I'm putting all the good things in my sponge. I like that.
Yes.
Yay. Well, what other final words do you have for anyone? Do you think like, what's like one thing I always like to ask, what's one thing you know for sure? If you were on a mountaintop with a megaphone and everyone had to take away your one tip from Mckenzie and they were like, all right, I'm going to take this and implement it right away, what would that be?
I would say what I know for sure is you were created on purpose for a purpose, and there is potential inside of you if you still have breath in your lungs. And so whatever fears, doubts, past stories, you know, past circumstances, whatever it is, it's gone. Like just start today and bet on you and go bigger, because you matter and people are watching you for your example. And I may not reach somebody, Kayla may not reach somebody. The only example of faith and greatness and excellence and, you know, living on purpose for a purpose that someone might ever see is you being that person. And so know everything you do and say and how you show up matters, and we need you. And we don't care if you're a national vice president in Arbonne or a doctor or a teacher or the janitor or whatever it might be the best, most authentic, real, healthy you, because we're not meant to be 60 on pills with a walker, just going downhill. Like, you are meant to thrive and flourish, and the best is yet to come.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing your heart. Again, follow Mckenzie. I'm going to link all of her links in the show notes if you want to have like just inspiration. And again, the biggest cheerleader, if you could ever connect with her, I'm happy to connect you with her. Or if you want to be our friend, we will gladly accept you as
We'll take
well.
you in.
Oh, well, I'm so glad that God put you in my life and that you reached out to me. And that's, again, that's like another testimony in and of itself of like,
Mhm.
what is someone else missing out on if you're not the one reaching out or saying something, like who's missing out on your goodness by you holding yourself back? So by you not holding yourself back, we are having this conversation more than 3 years later. It's insane. Love it. Okay. I love you so much. And I'm sure we will just talk soon through the phone. Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.